be available online. So if you go to the user group sroaug.org and just click on the regional meetings, you'll see probably in about a week or so these will be available. So you'll get a copy of the presentation. Applications Unlimited. So hopefully you've heard that term, and that term is that Oracle is dedicated to supporting all of these product lines, all of these applications, going forward into the future. Not only supporting these products in the development and making sure that they have improvements continuously, but also support. So as part of Applications Unlimited is support. So if we look at eBusiness Suite, here's all the applications. By the way, up through 12.13, I'd like to make a public apology. And this is hard for me to do. But about a year ago, I was presenting to this group, and we were talking about our applications, and we were running 12.13 at the time, and I mentioned that 12.14 was coming out. And it's because we had heard rumors about 12.14. And I shared that, and my public apology is we did not come out with 12.14. That never happened. All that new functionality was actually rolled into 12.2. So with heavy hearts, I apologize. I misstated last time, but I wanted to make that open to you, so please forgive me.
You're very nice, it's okay.
All right. So, up through 12.13, towards the end of last year, acquisition of Endeca. And Endeca is an incredible capability to discover information, to find information, going against big data. By the way, there's another term. 2 years ago, who's ever heard of big data?
Yeah.
And that's a strange term, and that's a funny term when you really think about it. But we're going after big data, quickly, real-time, information access, structured, unstructured. And around the end of last year, Oracle came out with what we're calling extensions, which are building the dashboards and the links to all the EBS modules using Endeca with dashboards. So it's pre-built, plug and play,
Wow.
and off you go. So that came out, that was towards the end of last year, but they're still coming out with new versions continuously. I think we just released version 3 now, which added even more Endeca extensions. So for example, for process manufacturing, for landing cost management. And then going into the future, 12.2. So by the way, and when you get this in soft copy, this is not to scale. You know, we're not making promises on when these plant releases are coming out. So I mean, you know Oracle, you never know for sure. I mean, even like the week before 12.2 is coming out, we're not supposed to say it's coming out in 7 days. So, but that's a little bit about the release structure for EBS. By the way, isn't this amazing? 11i, 11.5.10,
Yeah.
back in 2004. So, and that was January. So that's about 6 years, over 6.5 years. That's a long time. In software years, that's huge. So a lot of new improvements. So if you're still on 11i, there's a huge opportunity for new capabilities and new functionality. So support, let's talk about support. At Open World last year, as part of Applications Unlimited, Oracle has guaranteed that all of our products from 11.5.10 and beyond will be supported with sustaining support forever. So forever is kind of that's a long time. And I'm guessing in the year 2400, there's probably not going to be a lot of people on 11i. But that's our commitment. So keep us to it. The good news is, though, at Open World last year, in response to requests from our customer base, there were some improvements to support and some extensions. So, I mean, look at all those extensions on Premier support availability. So that was extended, the timeline, the windows were extended. And even for sustaining, once extended Premier support ends, even sustaining for the first 12, 13 months, there's some things that are being supported beyond So things like severity 1 patch upgrades or severity 1 bugs, those things are still supported with sustaining. So at Open World last year, huge announcement on support and a lot of positive responses from our customers. However, I want to make a real, this is a really important point. Don't let the support windows be the deciding factor in whether you upgrade or not. That really shouldn't be. I mean, support windows, yes, they're there, but that shouldn't be what really motivates you to upgrade. What should motivate you is the business reason, the value of the new functionality. And I hope we'll show you that there's enough value there that your investment can really get huge returns. So it's not just support, but it's really the value from the functionality. So, how do you leverage your investment going forward? Especially since there's been new functionality, new releases, new products. Well, really, the best way is to take advantage of that and to upgrade. So there's a lot of options when you upgrade. And how much do you upgrade? And when do you upgrade? And how do you upgrade? It's not just turning the switch on and off. There's a lot of options. A lot of different ways you can go about it. So let's talk about that. So first, 11i to release 12. So 11i, let's talk about philosophy and culture, because this is kind of interesting. 11i, the whole focus with 11i was transaction efficiency. So there were some improvements in the user interface, a lot of improvements in transactions. So remember order management, just entering a customer order? Before 11i, it was awful. I mean, the header or the line items, you had to go through multiple pages just to get in one order. So if your company did rapid order entry, it was just an awful solution. Release 11i really improved that. So a lot of transactions were improved with 11i. With release 12, it was a huge culture shift, a huge change in philosophy. And the difference is from tactical now to strategic. In release 12, there was really a focus and emphasis on how to improve the business, better value, lowering cost, increasing revenue, increasing sales, sourcing better products, getting margins to increase by lowering costs. It was really all about the business processes. It wasn't about transaction efficiencies. It was more strategic. So there's a ton of things in release 12 that really have a big impact on your bottom line. So hopefully that's something that will be clear as we go through some of these improvements. So improvements in the strategic use of these core products. Now, in addition to that, there was some major changes in the architecture that had direct improvement. Again, strategic improvement. Financials. So those of you that are using Oracle Financials, it was practically rewritten. I mean, the whole architecture changed. So subledger accounting, major improvement. So now a business document was completely unrelated and not directly tied to the accounting treatment, which meant that one business document could have multiple accounting treatments. That's extremely important for those of you that are in multinational companies or that have accounting reporting that's different for, say, tax reporting, financial reporting for SEC purposes, maybe operational reporting. To be able to have multiple accounting treatments for the same business document is huge. That was a big change. Shared service centers. So for the IT folks, those of you that have upgraded to release 12, major impact on the operational efficiencies of shared service centers. But again, huge for multinational companies, companies that have multiple divisions and have shared services. So there's a lot there, more workbenches throughout the system, user interface improvements, some new products. By the way, my background is manufacturing. I manage the manufacturing team for North America, so I can answer a lot of detailed questions about manufacturing. So I included some new manufacturing products here. So Manufacturing Operations Center, let's see, Service Parts Planning, Demand Signal Repository, Advanced Planning Command Center, all brand new products with release 12.1, very heavily with OBI business analytics embedded. So great solutions. So those of you that haven't upgraded to release 12, again, there's some great opportunities here for new features, new functionalities, and new products. And then we also talked earlier about Endeca. So let's go a little bit more detail about Endeca. Is anybody using Endeca right now? Anybody have it? Okay. It's amazing. It's just amazing. So here on the left, a lot of the initial extensions that were built for EBS modules. What that means is, again, plug-and-play dashboards. So whatever functional area you're in, a new dashboard to get information, to discover information, and we're going to see actually a whole new way of working with your Oracle system. It's a whole new way to navigate. So you're no longer handcuffed to that navigator with the top 10 list. It's really a great way to navigate through the system. So let's talk about that. What if you could be Tom Cruise, and you've got this dashboard, and it's based on data and information and tag clouds and the ability to get at information and to actually ask questions that you hadn't even thought about through this magic dashboard. And in addition to that, mobile capabilities. So you could be on the shop floor, you could be in a hotel room on a business trip, you could be with a customer. Mobile applications, all part of this Endeca access to the EBS system. So it is available now, and it's part of the EBS system. It's got unstructured data and structured data. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Oracle's been good with structured data historically, so if you know what you want, if you know the work order number, if you know the item number, the customer, the supplier, if you know the general ledger account number, if you know that, that's structured data, that's in the relational files. There's ways of getting at that through the traditional Oracle navigation. So with queries, with workbenches, even with some of the exception reporting within workbenches, you can get that information. But what about all the unstructured data? So service requests and people writing comments. Or maybe somebody on the shop floor just puts in a comment as they're adding their labor update to an operation. Or maybe there's an RMA from a customer and they've written some things in there about what they're dissatisfied about. How do you get that unstructured data? And especially if you've got millions of records out there. Is there any trend? Is there any commonality? Wouldn't it be nice to get that? Well, the answer is yes, again through Endeca. So here's the biggest difference. Traditionally, you start with the menu, you do maybe a query, maybe there's a workbench with exception reports, you go to a form, but you need to know what you're looking for. With information-driven navigation, instead of knowing what you're looking for, now you're looking for what's out there. And whatever's in your database, you tell me what I should be looking for. So for example, maybe you're looking at your dashboard and the tag cloud says, in big, bold letters, accelerator throttle is sticking. So maybe you've had thousands of service requests from customers and that was one of the comments. Well, you might not have known to even look for that, but with this dashboard, that's something that's important and you should be looking at. And so it tells you what questions to ask, as opposed to you knowing magically ahead of time. So you can find out the information you need, you can measure it, you can identify it, you can prioritize it, you can drill down into it, and then you can act. So it's a completely different way of navigating through the EBS system. And I've got some screenshots that has some examples. But it's changing the way we work with EBS. I mean, it's really changing everything. So here's the dashboard. So let's spend a second here with the Endeca dashboard. This one has to be for an asset manager. This will be different for whatever system you're looking at. If you're looking at it as a CFO, if you're looking at it as a plant manager, as a buyer, as an IT person, they're all going to be a little bit different. But this is a good example. So first of all, the upper top, we've got all sorts of different tabs that are specific to that particular product area. So you can tab into what you're interested for. But at the primary dashboard, There's a combination of metrics at the top, and those are pulled in as important metrics that you define as you want to see on a minute-by-minute basis. A tag cloud, and this is pulling information from your big data. And so it's showing you what it's seeing a lot of. So like here, it's seeing a lot of forklift daily maintenance. You might want to click on that and say, well, what's going on there? So again, some more metrics and some graphs. Now, there's tabs here, so we can actually tab into different areas that are important to you. Then over on the left is the search in the filter bar, and we'll talk about that. Searching is really important if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. So for example, results while typing ahead. In the upper left, right there is a search box, and they've just typed in BAT. But as you type, it's already starting to bring in some results. So batteries, all sorts of results in different areas of the system. So here's a story. Last weekend, I'm still kind of sore, but I was doing a lot of gardening work. And you know those big clippers with big long handles and they're real small? So I'm doing a lot of that. And I broke my clippers. And they were pretty old, so like, it was end of life, but I broke the clippers. Oh, that's a nice one. So I looked on the internet, and do you know what those are called? I didn't know what they're, so I just looked up clippers, and I got these little hand clippers. So then I put long handle cutters. I mean, I did a lot of searching, and I finally they're called loppers. That's the official name, is lopper. So there's a guy that knows it. So if you ever break your lopper, so results while typing ahead, that's important. So you can also filter and sort. So maybe you're looking at specific areas. So like for battery, maybe you're looking at different voltages or different product lines or for different plants. Over on the left, again, a lot of areas where you can filter, prioritize, and sort. Then once you find the information that's important, now you can start drilling down and acting on it. So here's some batteries that have issues for recharging. There's some asset numbers and work order numbers. You can actually click on those then, drill down, and actually go right to a transaction. So right into the EBS system. So instead of going through that navigator or the top 10 list, or even the dashboard, the traditional dashboard that you may be using now, with Endeca, you can find information that's important based on the data that's out there. And actually, after all your navigation, filtering, drilling down, go right into the transaction system and take action. So it's really a whole different way of using the system. So let's look at an example. Now there's tons of examples. Let's just look at one. And this is an asset repair or a replacement. So you're the plant manager of a manufacturing company, and the CFO has just called you and said, our costs for repairing equipment on subfloor is way over budget. Do something about it. So that's all you know. So you go into your Endeca dashboard, and this is for asset management, and you can see some tag clouds. You might go into the production machine to see if there's any issues there. Or one of the tabs is asset maintenance costs. So okay, well let's just click on that and see if anything is really readily apparent. And it lists some of your top assets that have high maintenance costs. I know this is kind of hard to read in the back, but here's the items, and here's the costs. There's a couple of heating and air conditioning units that have really high maintenance costs. So let's click on 2 of those. Let's just click there, and then go to the maintenance cost by year, see if there's any trends. So we do that. So there's the 2 units. Now the second one, it's gotten better. We had some maintenance costs earlier, but it's getting better. The first one though, ooh, it's trending up. There's something going on there. So if we then click on that, actually let's just click on the unit. We can see that this is preventative and this is reactive and emergency. Over half of the costs are not preventative. So that's a big red flag. Whenever that's the case, something's going on. So again, let's drill down into the asset itself. So this is the asset record. And if we go to a different view of the failure history for this asset, now we're in the system, we can see these are all the work orders against this specific asset. And we replace an A-frame, we replace a motor, we exchange the motor, I mean, we're replacing. It's bad money after good, and we're practically rebuilding this thing. So the decision might be, okay, instead of spending more money to repair it, let's replace it. So we go right to the event notification, recommended for replacements. It was that quick to go from getting the phone call, you've got some assets with high maintenance, finding out which ones were the bad ones, drilling into it, seeing the history, and then taking corrective action. Now compare that to the way you're navigating now in Business Suite, and how you're getting information now. It's really a whole different way. Oh my gosh.
No, here.
Oh.
Yeah. We just access. Yeah. I try to make this back bigger, make it move. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No. I don't know how to change that. I try to make this bigger
No.
so people can see.
Sharknado.
Call the assistant.
Okay, so how can Endeca do this against huge amounts of data? And we're looking at databases with millions and millions of records. And we have customers that are doing this against huge amounts of data. And the answer is it's in memory. So it does take dedicated hardware. It is in memory. It's fast. It's great technology. So, Bennett, yes?
Does Endeca know what security access I have so I can see certain things and not see certain things?
Yeah, the question about security with Endeca, the answer is yes. So it actually comes, when you get the extensions for Endeca, it actually utilizes the same security in your EBS system, so yes, it is same security. So answers to new questions, even questions you didn't even think about before, so that's a big benefit. Better operational information to make better decisions, which should result in improvements to your operations, higher revenues, lower cost, higher stock prices, bigger bonuses. That should help out a lot. And then improved user productivity. So those are the benefits of Endeca. So we talked a little bit about upgrading from release 11.5.10 to release 12, release 12.1, new capabilities, a little bit about Endeca, and then one more option as you consider the upgrade path to release 12, and that is coexisting with other systems that are available. So, wow. Oracle, as you know, has been acquiring a lot of different products and has been expanding the portfolio of solutions that are available to you. So in addition to EBS and core ERP, as you upgrade to release 12, it really opens the door to a huge library of new products that can help you in your business. So there's a lot here listed. New functionality, new products, and if we look at some of the solutions around that, I mean, it's mind-boggling. So if you have a need in your company for solutions in these areas, like value chain planning, or product lifecycle management, or governance, I mean, there's so many things that you can do to enhance your use of EBS, because these are all now working together as part of the Oracle portfolio, the library of solutions. So those are all the benefits of working with the upgrade. So now let's talk about the future. So again, the future. It's tough to be accurate. Things change. So here's an interesting thought. If you have any children that are just starting school, now here's a scary thought. As they go through school, as they work in their career, as they retire, they're going to be retiring around the year 2070, 2080, I mean, towards the end of the century. I mean, who knows what our world is going to be like in 2070? I mean, none of us has a clue. I mean, our world is changing. So here's another scary thought. Today's business newspaper, if you haven't seen it yet, there's an article here about Nordstrom and how they're measuring how their customers interact in their stores. And the comparison is because, you know, we're monitored when we shop online. So when we shop online, we're gathering cookies, companies are gathering information about us, they're studying our click streams, they know a lot about us. In fact, I was talking to Brandon earlier this morning, so I went out and looked at Loppers. I mean, I was just looking at Loppers to get prices for Loppers. My next internet site, I think I went to a news site, and right there was an ad for Loppers. So it knew, and I'm looking for the news, and here's an ad for Loppers. So that I know for the next month, I'm going to see the ads for Loppers, wherever I go. So the internet knows what I'm doing. Now, brick and mortar stores know what we're doing. It's a combination of cameras, which initially were for surveillance, but now they're actually using cameras to measure how people interact in their stores. And it's because the cameras have gotten to have such high definition, they can see facial expressions, they can see our reaction, they study how long we're in an aisle, and how we look at the products. And if we're looking at a product, and we might stand there for 5 minutes, but then we see the price, and we shake our head and walk away, it's recording all that. The other thing is, if you're carrying a cell phone with you, even if you're not connected to their Wi-Fi, if your cell phone says it's in the mode where it's looking for a Wi-Fi, even if you don't connect, they know that. So they can track you in your path and what you're doing in the store through your cell phone. So, I mean, a year ago, who knew that this was going to happen? So the future. This is Oracle's strategy. It's always subject to change, and one of the caveats for change is Oracle's always looking for input from customers. In fact, we're having a field advisory board and a customer advisory board in August. We're always looking for impact of new capabilities, ideas, and requirements for customers. So that might change. But having said all that, here's the strategy going forward. So first of all, release 12.2 coming out. Some major changes in technology and architecture. The big one is using 11G and the most recent and current version of Fusion middleware. So there's a lot of benefits there, and the impact on the user is going to be pretty significant. The other one, and this is probably the most exciting, is the capability to use online patching. So you know today when you upgrade a patch to the system, you have to take the system down. Users don't have access while you're applying the patch. Online patching, now you can keep the system up. So people are very excited about that. One thing to know though about online patching, and I didn't know this until I looked into it in a lot more detail. Yes, while you're applying the patch, the users can still access the system and can still do transactions. However, there still is a short downtime required. So I didn't realize until recently that is the case. It's not 100% up. There's still a short downtime, but it is short, very short, and it's very predictable. So you'll know. So you'll be able to see your users, okay, for this amount of time we're going to be out. So that's a big improvement. For applications, for the actual applications, I've got two here. One for manufacturing, because that's my area of expertise, and the other is for all product lines within EBS. But for manufacturing, first just a little recap of some of the things in 12.1.3, which was huge. There's a lot of new capabilities in that release. And the one that's really getting the most excitement is buy-sell subcontracting. So if any of you are in high-tech industry companies, buy-sell subcontracting is a major requirement, and we now have a great solution in 12.1.3. More business intelligence for process and discretes. MES, Manufacturing Execution System. We've had MES now for a couple of years, and we've got some strong customers. It's a compelling product for for really getting the analysis of what's going on the shop floor. It's heavy on analysis and business intelligence. There's some new capabilities in 12.1.3 that really complete the system. Again, in response to user requirements and feedback, mainly, this is ironic. One of the benefits to us of acquiring Sun Microsystem, Sun's a manufacturer. They use EBS manufacturing. They've got the area of development, and they said, you've got to improve MES. And development, listen, so we've seen a lot of improvements for EBS manufacturing because we have Sun manufacturing as part of the Oracle family. So that's 12.1.3. What's coming next? So there's actually some neat things in manufacturing. Electronic Kanban is going to be very strong. So those of you that run your operations using event triggers or Kanban or some kind of signals to generate resupplying and restocking, electronic Kanban actually helps within the MRP planning process. How many Kanban cards do we have out there? How do we manage those? What kind of event triggers are we going to have? And how do we report against those? It really streamlines that whole process. Some costing improvements. Some transactions are going to be more express-oriented for components within a work order. More Indecta workbenches, especially for MES. Some technology improvements. So there's a lot of things coming out for manufacturing. And then going into the future. So again, you'll have access to this if you go to the OIUG website, so you can get those lists in more detail. But you can see a lot of this is really focused on analytics, information, data. So business intelligence, Indecta enhancements, mobility. So there's a lot of emphasis on getting the information into the hands of the users. So that's for manufacturing. For everything, for all, just kind of in general, in the next couple of months from 12.2 and then going forward the rest of the year, a lot of things in mobility, a lot of things on analytics, a lot of capabilities for Indecta and BI apps, some integration within human capital management, mainly with Taleo, and then payroll and projects integration. When they go into the future, ERP, HCM, and SCM, there's some things that are pretty significant. By the way, this is a short list against a complete list. It's going to include like thousands of improvements, but these are the big ones. These are the big ones. So going forward, knowing that there's already with 12.1.2 and 12.1.3 significant improvements, new products available, and then 12.2 coming out, around the corner, hopefully before open enroll in September. What should you do? How can you run your business better? What's the roadmap for your company? So let's talk about that. So going back to release 11.5, going to release 12 is upgrading. If you haven't done that yet, it's really important to consider upgrading to release 12. You'll get business benefits that will more than make up for the investment in the upgrade. And I know upgrades are painful. I've been through upgrades, and you know they're hard. But the return on the investment is huge with release 12. It really is significant. So consider that first. Consider Indecta. Indecta is changing the game. And implementing Indecta is actually very quick. And it's very easy because it utilizes what you've already done in EBS. It utilizes security. Most of the setup is already done in your EBS transaction system. The dashboards, it's just a matter of implementing and using it. There's training. Probably the hardest part of the implementation is training. But again, it's very self-service and intuitive. We've seen implementations of Indecta not in a matter of months or weeks, but in days. I mean, it's a fast implementation. So definitely, as part of your ARC-12 vision, consider Indecta. And then, of course, all the adjacent products. And there's that huge library of products that are available. So there's options on your roadmap. Now, here's the most exciting option, and that is okay, I've decided to upgrade, release 12, 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, maybe 12.2 in a couple of months. I've decided to upgrade. How do I do that? Traditionally, on-premise, or do I upgrade via the cloud? And this is something that Oracle has really made a significant investment in providing different cloud options for you as companies. So let's talk a little bit about Oracle's cloud strategy and what that means to you. So there's all sorts of different cloud options. There's private clouds, public clouds, on-premise clouds, subscription-based clouds. So for upgrading, probably the most exciting thing is what Oracle's calling is the EBS Upgrade Factory. And that's utilizing the Oracle Cloud. So if you've got, maybe you're short-staffed on IT people, maybe going through a full upgrade, it's going to be a real strain on your operations, your IT, your hardware. This is really the easiest, the lowest risk, and the cheapest way to go. It's through the Oracle Cloud with Oracle consulting assistance using the Oracle EBS system on Oracle hardware that you have access to with full security. It's very low risk. The benefits, I mean, think about the benefits. When Oracle has an upgrade or defines a patch for some kind of resolution of a significant TAR, it only has to get applied once, and it affects all of our customers. So one application benefits many, as opposed to all of our customers who all have to apply that patch and do that upgrade. Support. The support relationship between the Oracle Cloud infrastructure and our support team is very close and very tight. Development, very close and very tight. So Oracle, as part of this cloud offering, is able to take advantage of all these things that we provide. And the ultimate benefit is the customers that are using the Oracle Cloud. So low risk, lower cost, subscription-based, faster implementation, support from Oracle. So that's another option to consider about one of your options. So just to summarize and recap, we've talked a little bit about what Oracle's done for you in the past, which is a lot. Applications Unlimited, several major releases for every product line. And hopefully the past is a good indicator of the future. We've talked a little bit about what's coming in the future, what's 12.2, a little bit about beyond that. We've talked about options for upgrading, and then last, a little bit about our cloud strategy. So that's actually my prepared remarks. So are there any questions about any of this? Yes? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that. Oh, a cost estimate for upgrading via the cloud? Is Lisa in the room? Yes.
Hi, this is Short. In regard to managed cloud services, it is a combined offering with Oracle Consulting and managed cloud services. We have configurable packs. So what we look at is your implementation, whether it's a small, medium, or complex implementation, and then price it out based on what you're going to do. But the reason it is such an efficient upgrade is that we really look forward to moving you to the cloud, and you don't have to think about hardware or software or
introduce Lisa. So Lisa's one of the key people in our cloud organization, and she's certainly available the rest of the day to answer any questions. That sounded funny when I said, is Lisa in the house? Like, is a doctor in the house? So Lisa, from now on, I'm going to call you doctor.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mike?
Michael, could you compare Indecca to work with business intelligence? If you look kind of on top of the apps, like what this you prefer, you don't have to use one versus the other.
Okay, great. So John asked to compare and contrast Indecca with Oracle Business Intelligence and BI apps, which is, it's the exact same question we all had when we acquired Indecca, because we thought there was a lot of overlap. There is a little overlap. The biggest difference is business intelligence is really for analysis of activity, of things that you want to do analysis for. And so you build metrics, you build graphs, you build results for things that you want to look at just on an ongoing basis. Customer service levels, production against schedule, revenue, expenses, just the normal metrics on a day-to-day basis that you want to look at. So you build BI apps for that, and usually it's looking at historical results. Indecca, on the other hand, although it does have some metrics, you saw some metrics in the dashboard, which is that's the similar part to BI apps. Where Indecca is different is it's for finding information for new questions that you hadn't thought of before. So it's I just got this call, we're having problems with this particular area, why? And so it's a way of, it's actually called information discovery. It's a way of looking at all your data and asking questions and getting answers. So it's very interactive. It's a tool to get at information as opposed to OBI and BI apps, which is more of a historical analysis and trending tool. BI apps is good for trending. Indecca is good for discovering information, finding issues, finding problems, finding results, and then taking action. So that's the biggest difference. Also, the other difference is, and we didn't know this until we started using it, is the information-driven navigation. It's our new navigation tool. And we didn't know that until we started using it, but we hope to replace the navigator in the top 10 list in the traditional dashboard with Indecca as our new navigation tool.
Does Indecca available in Oracle Cloud now?
Indecca is available in Oracle Cloud. Lisa, I think the answer is yes. Indecca is part of our Oracle Cloud offering.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes?
Yeah, can you share the strategic direction with regards to Oracle EBS relative to the Fusion applications? Because there's Fusion Financials, there's Fusion CRM, there's Fusion Cloud. Now, is there kind of a Fusion
Yeah.
future or direction?
Yeah, good question.
Great. So the question was, what is the strategy with Oracle EBS applications in regard to Fusion applications? So Oracle's been very open about, yes, we're investing in Fusion, but we're also investing in EBS. Should you migrate automatically to Fusion? And the answer is no. Oracle's recommending if EBS is satisfying your business requirements, stay on the EBS path. Now the strategic direction is all of our applications, EBS, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, as the new releases come out, we're using more of the Fusion technology. So for example, Fusion middleware, the latest 11G database. And one of the stated strategic directions for EBS is more integration with Fusion. So Oracle's recommendation and Oracle's strategy is stay on EBS. If there are pieces of Fusion that make business sense, implement those modules, those products, but use the integration between EBS and those Fusion applications. So for example, distributed order orchestration, a Fusion application, but if you're the type of company that has multiple order management channels, and you need something to organize all these different order entry methods and different channels, you could use Fusion DOO integrated with EBS. So the strategy is, down the road, greater integration, the option to integrate pieces of Fusion, or if it makes sense, to do a complete conversion to Fusion. But we're not recommending that in every case. I mean, in many cases, we're recommending stay with EBS. Any other questions? Well, thank you. Thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your interest in OUT. And we'll see you later today.
Thank you.